too.
What's that?
Proceeding apace in LA.
Everything's just fine. Except, you know, it's made a.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
All right. You want to sit down and I'll hold the chair so you won't scoot on you?
Made a horrible tax decision.
Yeah.
Not consulting a CPA.
We don't want you on the floor.
Testing.
Assuming I knew what I was doing, but we're.
You got it.
But I'm crossing my fingers.
There we go.
This is gonna work out okay. Yes, it is, and maybe I should have taken it out of the trust.
Pull out something out of here and I don't have.
May, the taxation rules may, the trust actually sold it.
Kind of happy.
So, and that's what I kind of woke up in the middle of the night.
It doesn't have to match perfectly.
Well,
And it is,
Still no.
exactly. I was thinking, you were talking about being a little bit on edge. But I was thinking, you know, I do okay with this. And I typed for, you did public speaking for a living.
I did a lot of typing.
Oh, really? Well, okay, so of course.
Yes.
He's
actually a reverend.
But, as I say, it depends on who you ask. But nonetheless, what caused you to ask that? You get to pick your, choose your weapon.
This guy,
I would be, I surely will, and tell me when I get Jennifer. Okay, thank you for asking me. I would be honored. I would be honored. Yeah, probably.
Morgan was supposed to.
Well, I do.
She has
That's
the flowers, but I wonder if she
pressure's
she
on.
should have said
No,
something
I
if she needed help.
That's
I could have helped her.
But thank you for.
She showed me pictures of.
good to see everyone. I don't see a new face, but I see welcome, smiling faces. So I'd like to start it off with a positive prayer treatment. So if you would just relax and just join me in consciousness. Just take a deep breath and just let all of your concerns, leave them outside the door, and just be in this room knowing there is only one presence, one power, all-knowing, right here, right where you are, right where I am. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That is my life, right here, right now. And I know that there is only the one Spirit, and it expresses itself in us, as us. And this song of Spirit expresses through each of us to every other person. And I know for all of us that we are one with total, the one, the love, the light, the life, the peace, the beauty, the power. It's all God and it's all good. So I know and I declare for each of us, I am perfect, healed, and whole. I am successful. I am healthy. I am unlimited. I am loving and lovable. That's who I am. Because I am, at my core, I am perfect spirit. For this, I give great gratitude and so much more. So I release my word into the law, knowing it is acted upon. I know it is so. And together we say, and so it is. So good to see everybody. This morning, Jennifer Hart is going to play another song for us.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
I need to be still and let God love me.
Thank you.
I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. Oh, I need to relax and let God take over. I need to relax and let God take over. Please take the load right off my shoulders. I need to relax and let God take over. Yes, I need to relax and let God take over.
Thank you. Welcome again. I'm Reverend Maureen Bishop, and we believe there's a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we can use this. And we come together to teach, demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to life. So would you welcome our candle lighter today, Pat Walker. We use these candles to symbolize and remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the unity of all. I hope you'll enjoy. The first candle, we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life right now. So please say with me, I am life. We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the higher Christ consciousness in our hearts and in our lives. We are transformed. I am a point of love within the heart of God. So please say with me, I am love. We light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We're always walking in the light. I radiate the light of God wherever I go. So please say with me, I am light. And we light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and the image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just as we are. So I accept the beauty of God's perfection as my perfection now. So please say with me, I am beauty. And we light a candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in God consciousness. I bring joy to the world. Please say with me, I am joy. We light a candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. I am a center of peace in the world. So please say with me, I am peace. And finally, I invite all of you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within. As we honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Pat. So, welcome. I forgot the volunteer list, so I have a makeshift list out there for next week. So please, if you'd like to volunteer to greet or light candles or bring treats, flowers, aren't these lovely? Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Morgan. So, spiritual mind treatment is our gift to all of you. So I just want you to know you can write on a piece of paper a request for a treatment, or you can ask a minister or practitioner to treat for you today. So please avail yourself of this metaphysical healing. And it's okay to put in the same request until you have a demonstration. So announcements in your program today, there's a list of some announcements. And I just wanted you to know today is the start of class, a new class called Spiritual Principles and Practices. And we're going to be learning those principles and practicing. So please feel free to stay. Okay. Oh, wanted to mention, we'll be reading this book, this thing called You. I think we have a couple of used ones out there in the bookstore, too. If you don't have one, oh, Martha has an extra. So feel free to grab one. So I just wanted to say again, thank you to the volunteers. You know, this is a truly community-based spiritual center. This is your spiritual center. So thank you. Thank you for supporting it. And I want to say thank you to Morgan. Yes, thank you, Morgan. And Jan, thank you for bringing, and Martha for helping. Thank you. And Robert and I brought some treats, and so did Jan. Thank you. And thank you, Larry, for the recording. And thank you, Jan, for the bookstore, as always. And Angel isn't here yet. He'll be here to clean up, put it away. So, any other other news or items, we'll do our group reading. The group reading is in your program. All right. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. Perfect. So would you stand for a group song? Take it away.
And we're going to sing today a song written by Donna Michael. It's called A Light in This World. And we have 3 verses. First one is I am a light. Second one is you are a light. And the third one is we are a light. And it's pretty repetitive, so I think
You don't have to if you don't want to.
So right now, I'd like to invite Larry, who's going to give us an inspirational reading.
This book reading is taken from the textbook today. Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You. I feel like I'm attracted. All right, so let us begin. You are to believe with the utmost simplicity and with complete faith that there is a pattern of your being or a real spirit of you which is as eternal as God, as indestructible as reality, and as changeless as truth. This pattern is seeking to manifest through you. Back of it is all the will and purpose of the universe. All that irresistible law is being finally won. And it is because it is there that you have these irresistible urges. The longing to live more fully, the feeling that life belongs to you. There is something within you beyond all doubt and fear. Something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feeling. This is the only something that can make you whole. And so it is.
So it is.
Yesterday was Earth Day, which we've been celebrating since 1970 when there was a big oil spill around Santa Barbara. And somebody, I'm not even sure who it was, decided we should have a day to honor this planet where we live and to remind all of us to take very good care of it. So I have chosen a song from Pocahontas, a Disney movie, which tells us all about lots of nature. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or asked the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? With all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter, they're my friends. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. For whether we are white or copper skinned, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. Need to paint with all the colors of the wind. Now you can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you. And before I introduce Robert, I just wanted to say that we also know the perfection and perfect health of Reverend Kate and also of Conrad. And we'll know that they will return to us next week. So it's my pleasure to introduce Robert Brown, and he will be discussing his spiritual journey.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Success. So, as Reverend Maureen said, I'm going to be talking about my spiritual journey. I'd like to begin this tale with a bit of humor. At least I hope some of you will think it's funny, but...
Oh, it wasn't.
So a guy walks into a bar. And he looks at the wall behind the bar and he sees a new picture there. He's been in this bar a million times, and there's always been a picture of Buddha behind that bar. But this time there's a picture of a cat. And he looks puzzled. He turns to the bartender. He says, what happens to the picture of Buddha you used to have hanging back there? The bartender said, well, that was Zen. This is Meow. Well, I'm going to be talking about then and now. My personal spiritual journey began on January 23rd, 1945 in the City Hospital in Grenada, Mississippi. Of course, I can't say that I was consciously aware that that was the beginning of a journey. I don't think I was aware of anything except for my desire for food, sleep, being cuddled, and having my diaper changed regularly. 3 out of 4 of those things I still like, so. I'm not sure I was truly aware that I was on a spiritual journey. I knew I was on a journey of life, but I wasn't really aware of being on a spiritual journey until late 2014, when I was taken to my first religious science service in Marin County by our very own Reverend Maureen, whom I had met on our first day in law school back in 1971 and had only seen once in 40 years until we reconnected at a reunion. Allow me to skip back to Greenwood, Mississippi, where I lived until I was 8 years old with my mother. My father was in a psychiatric ward of a VA hospital in New York at the time, following his adventures in World War II. My earliest religious memories were of attending the First Baptist Church of Greenwood and going to Sunday school on Sundays. Honestly, the only thing I can remember about that Sunday school was singing the hymns. And I've been trying like crazy to remember any of those hymns. All I can remember is, Jesus loves me, yes he does. But I remember happily singing those hymns, and that memory underscores the importance that I believe music has in our services and our worship. I think our Sunday services here would be very dry and uninspiring, perhaps, without the wonderful music that our group of talented musicians provide for us every Sunday morning.
Yes, indeed.
Although I had been baptized as a Roman Catholic, because that's what the church required when there was a mixed marriage, my father being Catholic and my mother Baptist, she had to promise to raise me as a Catholic. But I didn't find out that I was actually a Catholic until I was 8 years old and we moved to New York City. Because my father had been released from the VA hospital. That was one heck of a shock to my senses, a multifaceted cultural shock. Here I was going from a small town in Mississippi, the biggest city in the country, leaving behind a group of small town friends with whom I had lots of fun, to having to learn how to get along with these city kids who used to call me Farmer Brown until I disabused them of that idea and taught them they shouldn't be saying things like that to me. I went from public school to parochial school, not to mention studying for First Communion and Confirmation. But I learned then, maybe I didn't learn it then, but I know now, one of the qualities that I most admire about myself is my adaptability. It stood me in good stead back then, and it stood me in good stead at various times during my life. By the time I reached the 8th grade, I was one of the 2 best altar boys at St. John the Evangelist, and one of the top students as well. And I'm proud of how well I adapted to that new and different reality. Not too bad for Farmer Brown. I still have a warm place in my heart for the pageantry and music of the Roman Catholic Church, especially the solemn high masses with the Gregorian chants. There's that music again. By the time I finished parochial school, 4 years of Catholic high school in New York and California, where we moved halfway through high school, and my first year of college at Loyola in LA, which is a Jesuit school, where theology and philosophy were required classes, I was well versed in Roman Catholic dogma. But I can't say that I particularly liked it. At least I was beginning to not particularly like it. Beginning high school separated me from the daily influence that the nuns had on my religious life. And my stint as an altar boy ended during the summer between 8th grade and first year of high school, when a new priest who was now in charge of the altar boys assigned me to the 6 a.m. Sunday Mass 6 Sundays in a row. That was way too much. Teenagers like to sleep in on Saturdays and Sundays. So I quit. Enough is enough. So I began drifting away from the church during my teens. And then while in the U.S. Army for 3 years, immediately following my freshman year of college. So when I finally got out of the Army and returned to college, it was at UCLA, which is definitely a secular university. I found my own way in life after leaving Roman Catholicism. I self-identified as an agnostic, someone who isn't sure about God. I liked the so-called agnostic prayer, which is, "Oh God, if there is a God, save my soul if I have one." So you cover the bases that way. Obviously, by the fact that I sort of liked that prayer, I hadn't given up completely on the idea of something greater than me, although I had given up on mainstream organized religion, which just didn't satisfy me. But to show how I still believed in something bigger than me, in early 1966, I was on my way to Vietnam in the Army, and I couldn't have been more convinced. I was so thoroughly convinced that I was going to survive the war and come back in one piece, because I knew that God had a plan for the rest of my life, and it didn't involve dying in a war. I was totally convinced of that. And I got through the war. No wounds. I came close a couple of times, but the closest was really when that Viet Cong mosquito bit me and gave me malaria for 3 weeks. So I've always had an inner moral compass that guided me. It placed a heavy importance on integrity, respect for others, and loyalty to my friends and family. During my 40 years as a lawyer, integrity particularly came into play, both in my practice of law and my dealings with other lawyers and clients, but also in my office where the other lawyers looked to me as the ethics guru and would consult with me whenever they had an ethics question or problem. But although I had that strong inner moral compass, I was sort of in the same boat as the lawyer who was in the hospital dying of an incurable disease, and his family came to visit him. They found him sitting in bed reading the Bible, of all things. His daughter, gleefully shouted out, "Ah, you're getting moral guidance and support." And he said, "Nope, not at all. I'm looking for loopholes." So I finally found my loophole in science of mind. And by loophole in this context, I mean a path to the divine that is not dependent upon old-time religion. A divine that is not a bearded old man up in the sky, but a universal loving and creative consciousness. When my soulmate, Maureen, introduced me to Science of Mind and Spirit in 2014, my long dormant spirituality was awakened. That center where I first attended a religious science service happened to be in the Corte Madera Rec Center in Marin County, a room that I knew very well because I'd been practicing Taekwondo in that room for several years. An interesting confluence because I often use the forms of Taekwondo known as pumse, or in Japanese karate as katas. But I often use them as a moving meditation. And because Taekwondo emphasized very important personal spiritual principles, such as respect for others, self-control, and personal honor. Another thing that had a very strong influence on my spiritual self was nature, and it still does. I always feel more at peace when I'm in nature. Mountains, ocean, forest, desert, doesn't matter where it is, it's all beautiful. And I could never help feeling like a small piece of a much larger universe when I gaze up at the nighttime stars. Even when I was in Vietnam, involved in a war, I was always aware of the beauty of the mountains and the rainforest in the area I served. I remember with fondness a particular waterfall and large pond that I encountered while on patrol in the mountains above our valley of Vinton. It was an incredibly beautiful and peaceful place, and I really wanted to get into that water and swim. But I couldn't get undressed and leave my weapon on the shore. It just wasn't safe, wasn't to happen, so I have to have that swim in my dreams, in my memories. Along my journey, I learned the fundamental difference between spirituality and religion. There are no rules to spirituality. Spirituality is based on love, not fear. Religion tells you the truth. Spirituality allows you to discover the truth for yourself. Religion separates and spirituality unites. Spirituality has karma, dependent on the law of circulation. Religion has punishment for sin. Spirituality encourages a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. With Science of Mind, I learned a path to the divine that is spiritual rather than religious and not dependent upon organized old-time religion. I also learned and accepted that I am an individualized expression of a creative consciousness that is both within me, immanent, and outside of me. Transcendent. Finally, I began to feel comfortable with spirituality, both my own and with all those around me. My observation and witnessing of Maureen's strong faith, my interaction with other members of One Heart, One Mind, which was my first spiritual home, and particularly with Reverend Doctors Tom and Gisela Sanner, strengthened that feeling of comfort and also stimulated my intellect and my heart to learn more about this teaching. You might be surprised to know that the first online class I took from Dr. Tom, in light of my previous antipathy towards organized religion, was called World Religions. But that class served as a very nice bridge from old-time religion to science of mind and new thought. With my heart and mind awakened and stimulated, and after many more online and in-person classes, it seemed very logical for me to continue on to become a practitioner. 2 years of classes, lots of introspection, especially during the first year, lots of reading and homework, which I hadn't had for so many years I can't remember. During practitioner training, I was guided by the kind hand and heart of my teacher, our very own Reverend Kate de Vivier, to a deeper understanding of both myself and science of mind, and how I could have an active role as a practitioner. Thomas Troward said, in the creative process in the individual, relying on the maxim that principle is not bound by precedent, we should not limit our expectations of the future. And if our speculations lead us to the conclusion that we have reached a point where we are not only able, but also required by the law of our own being to take a more active part in our personal evolution than heretofore, this discovery will afford us a new outlook upon life and widen our horizon with fresh interests and brightening hopes. Becoming a practitioner was for me following Troward's advice and taking a more active part in my spiritual evolution. And I encourage, to the extent you haven't already, I encourage each and every one of you to do the same. You won't regret it. My central belief now is oneness. Oneness with universal consciousness, oneness with each and every one of you, oneness with the entire universe and all of creation. When I was a Baptist and then a Roman Catholic, I believed that God was out there somewhere, but now I know God is right here within my heart. It was easy to lose faith with a God who's somewhere else. Hard to lose faith with a God that you know is right inside you. I now engage in regular prayer, particularly like doing affirmations, and communing with Spirit within, listening for that still small voice of intuition. It's now an important part of my life. I now try to see God in everyone. God in amazing disguises. I've discovered greater inner peace and tranquility. I pray regularly and have forgiven myself and others in my life. I tried at all times. I try, not always successful, to be positive and to use Spirit's power to create a good life filled with joy, love, prosperity, and creativity. Gratitude for what I have has replaced a belief in scarcity or not enough. Of the seven qualities of God, 6 of whom are represented by our candles each Sunday, I particularly embrace joy because I truly believe the words of the Jesuit philosopher Teilhard de Chardin, that joy is the sure sign of the presence of God. So is my journey complete? Nope, not one bit. Still a lot of way to go. The journey of my immortal soul and the journey of your immortal souls will never end. So I'd like to conclude with some advice for all of us from Reverend Dennis Merritt Jones, who advises us to slow down, be still, breathe, listen to the silence, and smile, knowing we've already arrived on our journey to the place we never left, our oneness with life. Enjoy every sacred second of that journey because it is the most important one we'll ever have. Thank you, and so it is. We got a song now.
Now we got a song.
Well, when I found out who was speaking and what the topic was, I thought, okay, what can I do to support that? I have lost contact with her now, but there was a friend of mine who wrote a poem many years ago, and she had some posters made, and I had one of those posters hanging in my bedroom with that poem on it. And the name of the poem was, Am I Singing My Song? And one day I thought, you know, that deserves to be a song. So I set it to music. And
Very good.
yes, I love the song, and I hope you will too. Am I singing the song that I came here to sing? Am I bringing to earth all the joy I can bring? Am I dancing to music composed from above? Vibrations of harmony, beauty and love. Am I keeping my life in a natural key so that I may become what I came here to be? As I think, so I am. As I'm living, I find that my life has a tempo in tune with my mind. Am I feeling those rhythms within and afar, directing my heartbeat or guiding the star? Am I hearing the symphony nature plays, composed in eternal and infinite ways? Am I chanting the song that accompanies birth of the wonder and joy of existence on earth? Am I singing the song that I came here to sing? Am I bringing to earth all the joy I can bring? Am I feeling those rhythms within and afar, directing my heartbeat or guiding a star? Am I hearing that symphony nature plays, composed in eternal and infinite many ways am I chanting the song that accompanies birth, of the wonder and joy of existence on earth. Am I singing that song that I came here to sing? Am I bringing to earth all the joy I can bring? Am I singing that song that I came here to sing? Am I bringing to earth all the joy I can bring? Thank you.
So now is our time for conscious giving. And I was going to ask for 2 volunteers, but they've already stepped forward.
Volunteering.
Everything we give, everything we circulate, and everything we receive in return, according to the law of circulation, is blessed and multiplied 100-fold. So I give thanks for the offering today. I give thanks for each and every one of yours generosity and love for this center. And so it is.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Thank you. And thank all of you. So we'll have our closing song in a moment, but first I'm going to do a closing treatment. So I invite you all to relax, take a deep breath, and as I like to say, keep on breathing. Breathe in spirit, breathe out spirit. Know with me that there is only one power, only one presence in this room and in our lives. Indeed, in the universe, there is only one power and presence. I am one with it, and the I of whom I speak is each and every one of you. Each of our congregants who are present and each of our congregants who can't be present. I am one with God. I am one with Spirit. Each and every moment of my life, I am one. I dwell in this oneness. I take nourishment from this oneness. I use the power of Spirit to bring good into my life and to the lives of others for whom I pray. I am healed, whole, and complete just the way I am. My source is unlimited because my source is Spirit. Therefore, I am unlimited. I am loving and lovable. I am creative. But most of all, I am one. I give great gratitude for these truths, and I release my words into the law, knowing that they are already acted upon as spoken. And together we say, and so it is.
Stand.
It's our time to
Please stand.
closing song.
Here we go. Open your heart. Yes.
Pass the staff.
Oh,
Open your
Okay,
heart.
here's the key, you do it and I'll follow you.
Open your heart. Let love go free. Out over the ocean. Right across the sea. Let it flow like a river. Let it fly like a dove. Till your heart remembers. You can't stop love. Once you get it started, watch what it does. It'll go full circle. You can't stop love. Open your heart, let your love go free. Out over the ocean, right across the street. Let it flow like a river. Let it flow like a dove. Till your heart remembers. You can't stop love. Once you get it started, watch what it does. It'll go full circle.